Gretzky still with that puck. Good move as he hits the line. And gets it again. Gretzky getting set. Oh, what a move! Gets set in front of the net. Shoots. Oh, incredible!
There's something pure about the World Junior Hockey Championship. You're young and you're enthusiastic. When you're playing it for the first time, you realize why you love the sport so much and why it means so much to so many. And then, when you're older and you watch the tournament, you realize how true those feelings were. For a lot of the guys, it's as big as it will ever get. And for all the guys, it's about pride. It's about playing for the crest on the front and not the name on the back. The tournament has become more than just hockey. It's turned into a holiday season tradition. Friends and family, and hockey fans all over Canada pause to follow the fate of a group of teenagers. And for those couple of weeks, they're not just players. They represent the hopes and wishes of Canadians from coast to coast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Skellefteå, Sweden. Merry Christmas, wherever you're looking in across the country, and welcome to the 2000 World Junior Hockey Championship. Still takes a while to get used to saying that, doesn't it? Well, for Team Canada, the goal is simple, to restore the gold. Since sending national teams to the World Championship in 1982, Team Canada has never gone 3 consecutive years without a gold medal, but Canada hasn't won in either of the last 2 tournaments. Fairly or unfairly, this tournament has become a national referendum held annually on how we develop our young players. It may not be fair to judge the program based on how these young men do, but that's quite likely what will be happening. There's a lot of pressure on these young shoulders, but they seem up to it, and no one's looking forward to this game tonight more than the young men who will wear the maple leaf on their chest. To talk more about the game against Finland tonight, here again, Paul Romanuk and Gary Green.
Thanks, Gord. It's interesting. You put it in referendum terms. I mean, a lot of people view last year as a failure, despite the fact the team finished in 2nd place. Not bad at all, and certainly far from a failure. Carrying the weight on their shoulders this year's team, a couple of first-rounders we're going to talk about. First of all, with Canada, and Manny Malhotra, first-round pick of the New York Rangers, and a great leader.
Well, as Bob McKenzie has already referred to the line that Manny will be playing on, Manny Malhotra is a great checker. He's never been known as a big goal scorer, but in order to win a gold medal, you've got to have a great leader. And Manny Malhotra is a great leader. He's a tenacious checker. He's smart, he's dependable, and that's what it takes to lead this team. You also realize that after playing a year and a half for the New York Rangers, and especially last year, he also got an awful lot of good advice, I'm sure, from Wayne Gretzky and Adam Graves, 2 pretty great leaders.
Another first-round pick of the Edmonton Oilers, Jani Rita, who is playing in Finland, but will be a big man on his club's entry in this tournament.
Well, they hope so anyway, because Jani Rita hasn't necessarily performed very well in the Finnish Elite League. In fact, he has been a big disappointment. This is his opportunity at the tournament to do things that, well, scouts in Edmonton expected him to do. So when you look at Jani Rita's performance this year, hopefully for Finland anyway, they're hoping that he'll do in this tournament what Olli Jokinen did a couple of years ago when Finland pulled off the gold medal.
Yeah, with Rita, you always wonder if a guy like that would benefit from playing in Canadian junior hockey, but he continues to develop in Finland. Lots to talk about in terms of the future of hockey and specifically the future of the Montreal Canadiens. Here's our insider, Bob McKenzie.
That's right, Paul. Montreal Canadiens fans haven't had a lot to cheer about, but here in this tournament, they've got their own line to cheer for. Eric Chouinard, Mike Ribeiro, and Michael Ryder. 3 Montreal Canadian draft picks. They're all together on one line, and it may well be Canada's top offensive line. Michael Ryder from Bonavista, Newfoundland, continues the fine tradition of Newfoundlanders playing on Canada's national junior team. Dwayne Norris, John Slaney, Harold Druken, all those guys ended up with gold medals. Michael Ryder and the rest of Team Canada hopes that will follow suit.
All right, thanks very much, Bob. And in just a few moments, Team Canada will take to the ice. It's worth noting that 2 years ago, Finland won the World Junior Championship in Helsinki. And that's one of 2 that nation has captured in its history in this World Junior Championship. Canada beat the Finns last year, but 2 years ago in the tournament opener on Christmas Day, the Finns managed to defeat Canada. That's something that Manny Malhotra saw firsthand. He was a member of that Canadian team 2 years ago. Now the man who will try to lead Canada to gold is set for Finland.
The World Junior Hockey Championship on TSN is brought to you in part by Esso and the Esso Extra Card. Swipe the card, win and earn. By Air Canada, proud to sponsor hockey coast to coast. In this country, every day is game day. By Royal Bank Financial Group, building relationships one customer at a time. And by Nike Hockey. Our goal is not to make the player, but to make the player better. Just do it.
So, Wayne, what's next in your quest for points?
I really want to try boxing.
Pugilist.
Hey, I'm Wayne. That's nice.
The great one has managed to elude every single punch, Roger.
The champ is throwing everything. Hooks, uppercuts, left hooks. Gretzky's just ducking everything. It's unbelievable.
Wayne, you don't get no points, you don't throw any punches.
I've always won without fighting.
Do you want points? Want to win in Durango? Got an Esso Extra Card? So use it. Now you can win and earn at Esso.
Uh-oh, Wayne's still smiling.
Swipe the card, win and earn.
I've gone much too far for you now to say. People would know what we need. You two might be over.
The sale that Canada waits for is back. The Brick's famous Boxing Day blowout. Sunday 8 till 8, everything is on sale. Plus, from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m., the Brick pays the GST. And line up early for incredible door crusher specials. Like this 4-drawer chest, $19. Microwave oven, $88. Queen size bed, $99. Save $80 on this corner entertainment center, just $170. Color scanner, just $55. The Brick's payment Boxing Day blowout. Sunday 8 till 8, nobody beats the Brick.
It's time for all Canadians to make a commitment to better our hockey programs. Esquire and the Canadian Hockey Association are working together to develop minor hockey in Canada. $1 from each Esquire watch sold between October and March will go directly to the sponsorship and growth of minor hockey. Check out tsn.ca/ESQ or your participating Esquire dealer. Tell us about your team of superstars. They could receive Bauer merchandise and be the next Team Esquire stars to say,
strong arms, I can help. It would sure do me good to do you good. Let me help.
F-Series, Canada's best-selling line of trucks for 33 years. Ford, for now, forever.
The World Junior Hockey Championship on TSN, brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game.
welcome back, and game number 1 for both of these teams. It will be Canada going up against Finland. Gord pointed out during the pregame show, Canada in a very tough draw. That is because in the World Junior Tournament, your seeding is based on how you finished 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, Canada finished in 8th place in Helsinki. Finland were the champions. And as a result, the champions start off against a team that finished very low in the standings. And Finland is also the home team, so they will have last change in this game. Starting in goal for Finland, it is Antero Niittymaki, a draft pick of the Philadelphia Flyers back in 1998, but playing very well in the Finnish Elite League with the #1 team at TPS. He was the goaltender of the month last month in that league. That's a young man playing against adults, and he still starred. And at the other end for Team Canada, it is Maxime Ouellet who will get the call, also a Philadelphia Flyers draft pick. Brian Finley, who played as the backup last year, he got into one game for 20 minutes, will be the backup in this game. Danny Kerman, a Swiss, is the referee. Lars Kronberg from Norway and Ovi Luthka from Norway are on the lines. Canada in red and Finland in white. And a holiday season tradition here on TSN, all set to get underway one more time. And it bears pointing out, as Gord did, that this is often a barometer of how Canada is developing hockey players, fairly or unfairly. That is the weight that many of these young men carry on their shoulders. And it also bears pointing out that last year they finished in second place. They won a silver medal against an excellent Russian team, and you could hardly look at that and say the program failed.
Well, Claude Julien has played at all levels, and he understands what pressure is about. He understands what it takes to win a gold for this team. But the rest will be in the hands of these players in red today.
Well, this is the so-called checking line, as Bob McKenzie put it in the pregame show. Manny Malhotra out there with Tyler Bouck and Chris Nielsen. And the puck flipped in, and a little bit of jousting just back of the goal to start things off. Emotions very high for both teams heading into this first game. Lineups brought to you by Chapters.ca. Just you and a few million gift ideas. Here's how Canada lines up. Note Jay Baumeister is the extra defenseman in the depth chart. And Jason Spezza, the extra forward as well in the depth chart. Lundmark in the lineup. He was suffering from the flu earlier today, but he's in there. Rossiter clearing it up for Canada. Nielsen trying to get down after it. Bouck wheeling up as well. Rossiter at the blue line taps it up. Kukio clearing it up ahead for Finland. Finland traditionally a very offensive-minded team in this tournament. That hasn't always served them well. Puck flipped on goal, point blank there by Malhotra, who squeezed through the defense, and that's a reason why, because their defensemen sometimes get caught thinking offense, and other teams will take advantage with a quick pass up the middle.
Without the red line here as well, Canada's defense have to be extra careful not to allow that Finnish forward to get behind you.
Vannanen clearing it down the ice, and again, you international hockey veterans don't need the update, but of course it is no touch icing in international hockey, and also in this tournament there is no center ice red line for the purpose of offside passes. Finnish lineup. Number 22, Yanni Rita, first-round pick of the Edmonton Oilers. They'll be watching him closely, but as you pointed out, Gary, he's been struggling this year with Jokerit in the Elite League. And back in the blue line, they have a couple of returning players. Mikko Jokela is one of them, and he will see a lot of ice time. And the puck flipped on goal, but somebody jumped the gun on the draw. That's number 25, Brandon Reed, moving up to take the face-off. An 18-year-old, was not at the summer evaluation camp. And that being a bit of a surprise, because generally most of the guys on the team go to a summer evaluation camp, then they come back for the final camp in December. However, Reed played so well after the summer evaluation camp, and he was healthy and invited to the final camp and played his way onto the team.
And one of the Canadian players with a great work ethic. That will allow him to have a leadership role as well. He's got good speed. He's got good quickness to be able to play both ends of the ice surface. Rather interesting that his favorite player is Stevie Yzerman. Much the same type of player.
Kankempera clearing it in for Finland. That's Miettinen, number 21, dropping it off in the corner. Hämäläinen gets it around back of the goal. Number 18 for Canada, Steve McCarthy, flipping it up around. Ryder passing it up. It hopped over Eric Chouinard's stick. He's number 7. Jokela passing it up ahead. Miettinen. Cross-ice pass there. He's looking for Latikainen, but that was broken up just outside the line. Here's Jokela. Sends it up against the flow. Knocked down by Ribeiro. Ribeiro toiling in the corner. Looking for someone in front. Ribeiro centers it right in front. It was just chopped wide. Chouinard was there in front of the goal as well as Ryder. And you could see the poise of Ribeiro. You can tell he played in the NHL the first half of the season. Held on to that puck and made a nice pass.
Hey, he even showed great patience in the National Hockey League, especially when he was on the point in the power play for the Canadians.
Well, there are many watchers of the Montreal Canadiens a bit critical of Ribeiro. Talked about the fact that maybe he shouldn't be in the NHL, but I'll tell you what, if you can play on the power play in the National Hockey League as a 19-year-old, as Ribeiro did, you've got some talent.
A second pick by the Montreal Canadiens back in '98, but he has got great goal-scoring abilities. He hasn't showed that in the National Hockey League, of course, only with his 19 games, but he does handle the puck extremely well.
You saw Finland trying to go for that pass up the middle. Teemu Lane was trying to sneak between the Canadian defenders. And again, without that center ice red line, you have to be wary of that. Puck knocked down. Here's Lane. Whistled one high and wide of the goal. Pettinger back after it. Took the elbow in the corner. Lane in watching him. And again, you'll see Finland jump up. They can play very aggressively offensively. And that served them well a couple of years ago in Helsinki when they won it all. That's still referred to in junior hockey circles in Finland as the miracle team. Pettinger on the way up for Canada. Julian wants to get in a change. Pettinger losing the puck there at the blue line. Back the other way comes Vananen. He's given a bump. Puck cleared up. Malhotra wheeling and dealing towards the corner for Canada. Trying to get away from Tukio. Rita is clearing it down into Canadian territory. Finland on a change, and lucky for Canada because that puck took a weird bounce out of the corner. Laukkonen gets it up around the boards. Hämäläinen, number 13 for Finland, plays it back. And again, that line of Malhotra, Ryder, and Nielsen out there for Canada. Biron gets it up against the flow. Kinch. Malhotra up looking for it. This is Hämäläinen. Steps in over the line, looking for a little bit of help. Slid it back. Ryuta fires it across to the slot. Nobody home for Finland. Miettinen muscles his way to the top of the slot. Gets it in front of the net. Willett with a nice stop in tight. Ryuta was right in front and got a good backhander. And Willett made the stop.
So, Wayne, you're retired. What's next for the Great One?
I'm thinking about wrestling.
Wrestling? Wrestling? Well, who'd have thunk it?
Hey, Great One.
Uh-oh. Now there's a bicep.
Has Wayne seen that?
Come here. Here comes trouble. Hi, Wayne.
Hey, Brett.
How do you like your retirement?
Do you want points? Want to win in Durango? Got an SO Extra card? So use it. Now you can win and earn at SO. Swipe the card, win, and earn.
Hannu Kapanen, he was the coach 2 years ago that pulled off the miracle for Finland. He did not coach the team last year in Winnipeg. He, as a player, played for IFK and Jokerit, and he is a full-time national coach now with his junior program.
Puck rolls towards the corner. Joe Roulier gets it up along the boards, but not out. There's Jamie Lundmark. Passing it up ahead. Reed was trying to slip away there up the middle. Heatley clearing it up towards the corner. Reed up after it. Reed and Heatley. Lundmark up there giving a bump and knocked down in the corner. And you saw Brandon Reed peel right back to support. Canadian forwards, also known for playing very good defense in this tournament.
Well, when McCarthy stepped up and pinched, and then he had to have some backup.
McCarthy clearing it up. Lundmark looking forward, and the puck pops into the Finnish bench out of play.
Well, Bob McKenzie told you in the pregame show that this man had a rough evening. A rough morning, too. But Jamie Lundmark was feeling pretty good when he came to the rink tonight. He was a New York Rangers first-round draft pick in '99. He plays for Moose Jaw in the Western Hockey League. He's got good skill levels, speed. He's got good balance, good agility. This year, he's had 11 goals and 18 assists in 24 games playing for Moose Jaw.
He's a bright guy, too. He says if he couldn't be a player, he'd be a player agent, which is another way to make a pretty good dollar. Jackman up after it. Got it around back of the goal. Ribeiro trying to get it out in front. Rossiter from the line. Tried to zip it across there through the slot. It was knocked away. Lane getting up between the two defensemen, but he was offside and then took the shot after the whistle. That would normally draw a crowd, but discipline, a watchword at this tournament when you factor in international officiating.
Timo Lyon right here is a player that, well, you better watch because the NHL scouts will be watching him. They have been already. He plays for Jokerit in the Elite League in Finland. He will be drafted, no doubt, in the NHL draft this coming year. He's never had any world international experience, though, but he's getting some here.
And depending on whose rankings you want to go by, anywhere from 7th to 10th in the first round is where he's rated. Chouinard up back of the goal, couldn't turn it over. Ryder up as well. Puck passed across. Rita flipped it back towards the slot. Puck fired on goal. Good low shot there off the stick of Vikukla. That was knocked aside. Finland with a couple chances in the early going. We played 5 minutes and 53 seconds. And it is 0-0. Here comes Chouinard. Saucers it up towards the corner, but the puck got away from him and went up over the glass and into the meshing, and that gets a whistle.
And we've talked about the offensive capabilities of this hockey club, the skill level. Eric Chouinard is one of the big goal scorers coming into this tournament. Last year in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, playing for the Ramparts, he scored 50 goals, 59 assists. He was Montreal's first draft pick in '98. He is continuing on that road this year of scoring goals. Already 36 goals in only 32 games.
Chouinard played for Claude Julien a couple of years ago with Canada's under-18 team back in 1997.
And he didn't get all those goals either just because his dad was, well, the coach. He's got great skill, great offensive skill.
Biron back for Kinch. Pettinger, long shot, floats one in eye high. Niedermäki just throwing it away. Niedermäki steers that one aside. You notice he likes to go down early, even on those clearing in shots from the point. Cancampera dumped it right across in front of the net. Nobody home for Finland. Delayed penalty coming up against Canada. So the first penalty call of the game goes against Canada. The Finns will go on the man advantage.
Well, one thing for certain, Canada realizes, and they realize it as this team as well, that you've got to have discipline. In the exhibition game against Sweden that they lost 7-1, they gave Sweden 12 power play opportunities. There's the slash. Cancampera ended up losing his glove when he was slashed by Pettinger.
That might have been a reason for the call, drawing extra attention to it. Manny Malhotra out there to take the face-off. See how Canada's penalty killing sets up. He is out there with Kyle Rossiter as they lined up for the draw. It's Rossiter watching his man there along the boards. Viukla, number 16, trying to tee it up. Drops it down low. Rita's parked right out in front, number 22. Vannanen with a shot. That's knocked aside. Malhotra fishing at a bouncing puck. Good play to keep it in there by Viukla. Latikainen with a shot, knocked aside, and Canada able to change up the penalty killers. 1:20 to go on the man advantage for Finland. Latikainen is leaving it there.
And Canada just laying back the neutral zone, not trying to force.
Reed and Nilsson now the two forwards. McCarthy and Biron back in the blue line.
Canada just looking to turn that puck over between the two blues.
55 seconds left in the Finnish power play. In over the line. Miettinen. Slides it up towards the corner. Ryuta after it. Ryuta gets it up around the boards. Jokila down for Ryuta. Puck comes out. That hit the side of the net. Jokila. Top of the point. 35 seconds left in the power play. Gets it over. Fire there. Miettinen tried to land it on goal, but it was blocked. Miettinen. Number 21 digs it loose. Pokes it up ahead. Hämäläinen trying to get it in front. Mantila tried to keep it in, and things getting a little scrambly for Finland just outside the blue line. 13 seconds left in the Finnish power play. Ryuta's set up back at the blue line. They can't get it to him though. Hämäläinen, top of the point. Antila with a shot. That was blocked. Dropping down in front of it was Steve McCarthy, and he is on the limp after blocking that shot. Penalized player back on, and McCarthy skating back to the corner to pick it up. Looks okay now, but he was favoring one of his legs or his ankle after he blocked the shot initially. Vaninen storming up there, picks it up, tried to tuck it around in front of the goal. Ouellet knocked it aside. Teams at even strength, and we've played just over 9 minutes of this first period, 0-0.
Canada's using their size and strength to their advantage right here.
Ribeiro was breaking towards the front of the net. Now the shot gets there. It's knocked aside. Kelkari carrying it out to center. And Finland on a change. Play whistle down. Ribeiro along the boards, down in Finnish territory. The Montreal Canadiens injury curse. Let's hope not.
I am a living legend. My goalie stick is my sword and my shield. My mask, my armor protect me from enemy fire. When players approach the net, they don't see a goaltender. They see a fortress. The hockey rink is my kingdom, and I am its guardian. What's your dream?
The Montreal Canadiens have had more injuries than any other team in the NHL this year, and Mike Ribeiro, who played the first half of the year for Montreal, is hurting here.
Well, Ribeiro is a skillful puck handler. Right here, he tries to do the team thing and make sure that he eliminates the player. Kokolari was coming out of his own end. Ribeiro tried to put the right shoulder into him, and he did that successfully. Unfortunately, though, I could tell right away as soon as he made the check that it looked as though he was going to have some difficulties. The good thing is that he's getting up and skating. Take a look at it again, folks, and you can see how he uses his right shoulder right there to try to stop the man, and instead he ended up putting himself down. But he is going to the bench on his own accord, which that in itself is good news.
Well over 200 man games lost for Montreal this year due to injuries. That's one of the reasons why Ribeiro has played so much and why he was seeing action in the power play. The depth of the Montreal organization being tested to the max this season.
But there's a perfect example how when kids play for this team, they try to do it all because they're expected to. But he would usually have stick checked in that type of a situation. Instead, Ribeiro tried to use his body. He did use his body, but got hurt on the play.
Valkonen, number 20 up there, stole it for Finland, got it loose. Laine trying to work it back towards the slot. Biron carefully out towards center. Bout burrowing his way up to the corner. Big collision there with Mantula. Bout trying to knock that puck loose. Rolls towards the front. Here's Malhotra up on the play. Gets it out of his skates. Fires one. That wobbled towards the goal. Knocked in back of the net. Malhotra, look at him battle. Comes up with that puck. Back for Rossiter. Up towards the slot. Bout with a shot. Knocked down and covered up by Niedermäki. Good offensive flurry there from Canada.
Manny Malhotra is good at taking the body. We talked about him earlier as his great leadership. He played in the Memorial Cup final in '98. He had a gold with Canada in the under-18 team, with the under-18 team back in '97. But probably more importantly, in this tournament, he's seeking revenge. Revenge for Helsinki 2 years ago when Canada finished in 8th place.
Canada was a goal post away in that tournament from making it to the semifinal. They lost a quarterfinal game to Russia in overtime. And they hit the post during that overtime and ended up losing. And once you lose the quarters, the best you're going to finish is 5th. Puck floated wide of the goal. Pettinger after it. He couldn't pick it up. Vanaken along the boards for Finland. He was upended. 10:40. That's what we played in this first period. It was 0-0, Canada and Finland. Rita rolled it up ahead.
Nifty little move by Rita there to gain the blue line, though. They're expecting him to do that a lot. He's a good puck carrier.
Pettinger clears it in. Richards up after it, number 9 for Canada. Ryuda. Long pass up ahead. Mittanen trying to tap it in over the blue line. Jackman for Canada. Back for his partner, Rossiter. Reed in over the blue line and then gets squeezed out of the play. And the puck fired down the ice by Kankapera. And that's an icing call on Canada. 0-0 the score in the first period of this opening game of the World Junior Hockey Championship.
It's a Canadian game.
Welcome back, and good news for Team Canada. It doesn't look as though Mike Ribeiro is seriously injured at all. He did sustain some injury to his shoulder and right arm, but it looks as though he's back and ready to get back into the lineup here for Team Canada.
That's Bob McKenzie right down at ice level.
He's in the penalty box.
I thought he was behind the bench changing the lines there for a sec. He's so close.
Did he get it for interference? What did McKenzie get it for anyway?
Here's Reed, gets it up ahead. Lundmark burrowing his way, trying to go wide, and he was pushed down, and Canada will get a chance in the power play. In back of the goal, Heatley comes around, fired one, tried to go upstairs, and lost it. And Lindholm tagging the puck up, and Canada will get its first power play opportunity of the game.
Ossi Vananen is going to the penalty box. He is their top defenseman. Phoenix second-round draft pick in '98. Lundmark had possession of the puck and had pretty good balance, and as he was protecting the puck, he ended up having the feet taken out from underneath of him, more so by being pushed down than anything else.
Vananen, along with Mikko Jokela, both played for Finland last year at the World Junior Championship, and experience is golden at the junior level, where there is a finite period of time that you're eligible for these tournaments.
Kapanen has got, I believe, 9 returning players from last year's team in Finland.
Richards after it, knocked away from him. And up for Ryuda, and play whistle down. A high sticking call. And it's going to go against Finland, I believe, but Hannu Kapanen getting a little worked up over behind the Finnish bench, and the referee went over to caution him.
And Tula ended up getting his stick up high. He is the heart and soul, but he is also very gritty, very determined. He's not going to take anything from anybody. He followed through and ended up clipping Ribeiro. So Ribeiro, after returning from being injured, ends up getting clipped.
It's been a rough first period for Ribeiro. He hurt his shoulder in throwing a check and then takes the high stick there. So Canada with a 2-man advantage, and Ribeiro, you know where he's staying, right out on the ice. He's one of Canada's most talented offensive players.
Well, you're going to get an opportunity here, folks, to see whether or not this team can utilize all of this ice surface. We talked about them being very skilled and quick.
And Jason Spezza gets his first shift of the game. Claude Julien said that if Spezza saw ice time, it would most likely be on the power play. He is so talented offensively, and he's out here with lots of extra room on the 2-man advantage. He's number 19, and Spezza up there looking for the puck. Comes back towards the blue line. Richards stepped up to challenge, but Hall got it by him and down the ice. Spezza is out there with Chouinard and Ribeiro up front. Canada with that 2-man advantage. Richards bouncing it up. Ribeiro tried to get to it, but the pass went astray. Chouinard will crank it up. 1:05 to go in the 2-man advantage for Canada. Richards fires it in there. And it's drilled right by Richards. So far the power play sputtering. Lots of time, though. 50 seconds to go in the 2-man advantage. Ribeiro drops it back for Chouinard. Richards moves in, gets it over. Puck fired, and that was block. Jokela slid across in front of it. Chouinard down low. Spezza waiting. Back for Lundmark. Up to Spezza. Moves in. Shoots. Rebound. Couple of chops at it. Chouinard up after it. Drilled up around the boards by Jokela. And it just comes outside the line. Hall gets it back into Canadian territory.
Niittymaki won't give you much. He has been a very strong goaltender in the Elite League this year. In fact, in the fall, he has been the best goaltender in the Finnish Elite League. He has really been hot. The only concern that the Finns have is whether or not Niittymaki, as well as Ahonen, who might be the two best stars that this team have got, whether or not they are both tired because they have played a lot in the Elite League. Watch Spezza right here. He just didn't have much to shoot at. His pass opportunity was taken away from him by the Finnish defenseman. They aligned themselves very well to cut that pass down. And Niittymaki just took everything away from him. He's a good stand-up goaltender.
8 seconds to go on the power play. The two-man advantage. And that expires 10 seconds to go in a one-man advantage. So extended power play time for Canada, and they were unable to take advantage. Penalized player steps back on. The teams are at even strength. So a big kill for Team Finland. Nielsen chopping at it, not able to keep it in. Bout into the corner. Had Nielsen in front and Malhotra. Nielsen in there throwing his weight around. Comes away with the puck. Nielsen saucering it towards the goal, and it's grabbed and held by Niittymaki.
Chris Nielsen, who was the New York Islanders' second pick in '99 and plays for the Calgary Juniors, was a last-minute invitee to the summer evaluation camp. So believe me, folks, he was really pleased when he ended up making this team. Last year, he ended up with 22 goals and 24 assists in 70 games, but this year, he's ahead of that pace considerably. He's already at 21 goals in just 32 games.
And I can assure you he is the first Tanzanian-born player ever to suit up for Canada. He was born in Tanzania, grew up in Canada.
Well, I talked about his offensive abilities, but he's known for great two-way capabilities.
Up ahead, Miettinen couldn't wheel in that pass. And has to contend in the corner there with Rossiter. Miettinen coming away with it. Good perseverance. And he gets the puck out in front of the net. However, Hämäläinen was tied up. Lundmark swings in over the blue line. Reed was breaking towards the net. With the puck going on net and Niittymaki holding on to it. We played 14:58 of the first period. You're watching the World Junior Hockey Championship on TSN.
Freedom. Control. Just you and your laptop. Log on to autobytel.ca for vehicle pricing, product reviews, and a low, no-haggle price. Autobytel.ca, the road to your next car.
Avoid the lineups and shop online at chapters.ca right now to take advantage of huge Boxing Week specials on books, music, videos, DVDs, and software.
The first period is brought to you by Dodge and its local retailers.
Well, Claude Julien was one time traded for a coach. That was Jacques Demers. He was only 23 years of age and a young defenseman with the St. Louis Blues organization. He ended up, along with Gord Donnelly, being traded to the Quebec Nordiques, where he ended up playing 14 games and then played within their system. St. Louis Blues ended up with Jacques Demers.
Claude is a year older than me, and I can remember him playing for the Oshawa Generals in his junior career. That's brutal when guys are getting up there and you can remember them as juniors.
Get used to it. It's not going to get better.
I know it gets worse. Penalty coming up. It's an interference call in the corner. And it is going to go against Canada. So Finland will get its second power play chance of the game. They had 2 shots on goal during the first one.
Well, Joe Roulier likes to play it physical. He's a stay-at-home defenseman. There you see right to the left of your screen. He ended up dumping his man.
And he gets called for interference, so Finland with its second power play chance of the game. And we once again see Manny Malhotra out there taking the important face-offs in the Canadian zone. And like I said, he won't take this face-off because he jumped the gun a little bit. Tyler Bout comes in to do the honors. Vaninen, top of the point, shoots, and drilled that one wide to the top corner. Rita. Bumping in back of the goal. Jackman was able to come up with it, and with a little bit of help from his defensive partner Rossiter, got it down the ice. Long pass coming up ahead. Riukkola. Just drops it off. Nifty little play there. Vaninen moving towards the slot, and the play disintegrates. Canada coming back 2-on-1. This is Reed with Nielsen. He scores! Chris Nielsen with a shorthanded goal for Canada, and it's 1-0.
Well, we talked about Chris Nielsen's abilities in his offense. This year, all of a sudden, he has found the net. This game, he is finding it again. He ends up getting a perfect pass here by Reed, and Nielsen then was smart enough and talented enough that he got rid of the puck very quickly. Nino Mäki did. He had just no chance to get from his right to his left in order to take that puck away from Nielsen.
So Nielsen gets Canada's first goal this tournament, and it comes shorthanded at 16:02. Reed will pick up one of the assists. Mantula. Still 1:06 to go in power play time for Finland. Mantula gets it up ahead. Miettinen. Working it back. Ryuta. Miettinen back for Ryuta. Trying to go to Mantula back at the blue line. Knocked down, and again Canada breaking out quickly. Ryder rolling it down into Finnish territory. Bell up there, very aggressive in back of the goal. 38 seconds left in Finland's power play. Ryuta in over the blue line, slips it off. Hämäläinen waiting for his mates to catch up. 30 seconds to go in the power play for Finland. Jokila gets it up for Hämäläinen. Lots of traffic, and Hämäläinen can't see the net. He drops it down low. Ryuta dipping and diving, gets it out for Hämäläinen. Top of the point. Jokila winds up and shoots. Dropping down in front of it was Bell, and the puck spinning there towards the corner. Only 10 seconds left in Finland's power play. Jokila snapped it across in front of the goal. Pass a little bit too hot for Hall. Here's Hall back to the blue line. Vanillin with a shot, and that is grabbed and held by Willett. So Canada solid on the penalty kill. The team's back at even strength, and they come out +1 on that kill with a shorthanded goal.
I'll take you way back on that last goal and see how it actually happened. Reed ended up taking the puck off the man and then went all the way through 3 zones before he laid that perfect pass across to Nielsen. Reed started that play off by turning the puck over back in the defensive zone and then waltzed through the neutral zone. No one was on him and was able to set up the 2-on-1 situation perfectly and with a skillful pass right across to Nielsen. Claude Julien's team actually practiced killing penalties very well. That's when they lost 7-1 to Sweden. They just did that so they get lots of penalty killing. 12 power play attempts. They didn't do that good of a job, though, killing them off.
Spoken like a true coach, always optimistic. Mantilla with a shot. Nice grab by Willett. Saw it all the way, and he holds on. Willett has looked nice and solid for Canada early in this game.
Well, that's what many Canadian teams have said when they've come over to play exhibition games before tournaments. When they sat in the penalty box, they at least practice their penalty killing. Ouellette has been very focused so far in this game. He hasn't had an awful lot of work, but yet concentration is one of his key things.
He is yet another disciple of Francois Allaire, the great goaltending coach in Quebec.
And no surprise, his favorite player is Patrick Roy.
Roy Rossiter works it around back of the goal. Played 17:45 of this opening period. Canada leads 1-0 on the shorthanded goal from Chris Nielsen. And the only assist going to Reed. Brandon Reed did a great job to get that whole play rolling. Tukio up along the boards for Finland. Squeezed there by Bauk. Bauk trying to get it loose for Malhotra. And Nielsen also lurking back in the weeds towards center if they can coax the puck loose. Rossiter for Jackman. Canada on a change, so Malhotra was up there virtually by himself. Had one other player back near the blue line in support. Chouinard. Puck ricocheted up ahead for Ryder. And it wobbles around. Nice move by Ribeiro to gain the blue line, but he couldn't hold on to it. Lindholm with a wrist shot. That is grabbed by Ouellette, and he will hold on.
The Esso Medals and Certificates of Achievement program rewards youngsters across Canada with most dedicated, most sportsmanlike, and most improved player medals, and reinforces team commitment with Certificates of Achievement for each member. Esso, proud supporters of the CHA.
I think the Canadians have had a little difficulty at the bouncing puck. Well, that goes for both hockey clubs, but there was a game played earlier here, and this ice would normally be really good, but it looks a little soft.
Chouinard trying to come out. I would expect the ice will be better here than in most NHL rinks anyway. This is an old-fashioned hockey barn. The barn roof, not freezing cold inside, but chilly. Ribeiro along the boards. Here comes Rita on the way back. 45 seconds to go in the period. Rita tried to put the shoulder down and go towards the goal, but Biron had that covered. And Biron with the octopus-like grasp trying to hang on to Rita there back of the goal. Here's Jackman. Gets it up around the boards. Campera clears it back in. 20 seconds left in the period. And Jackman just feathering it out to center. Heatley couldn't pick it up.
Canada standing up on that blue, really forcing the Finns to dump it in.
Defensively, Canada was solid in the first period, and they come away with the only goal, a shorthanded marker, 1-0 after one. First intermission coming up, and here's Gord Miller.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. Bob McKenzie will stop by with his thoughts in that first period. And our Canadian classic today is Team Canada's Joe Roulier. Canada with a shorthanded goal in the opening period. Better than last year when the Canadians opened the tournament with a 0-0 tie with Slovakia. TSN's live coverage of the 2000 World Junior Hockey Championship returns in a moment.
Lundmark with a nice pass to Eric Chouinard, and Canada has a 2-0 lead.
Well, I was just talking about the great puck possession all of a sudden that Canada were displaying. They held possession of that puck. They weren't just going to dump it in. They weren't just going to get rid of it. Back in their own end, it all started. You can see the usage of that long pass without any red line, but Canada ended up making one good pass after another, and Chouinard, the man we talked about in the first period of play, who's been a big goal scorer in the Quebec League for the last couple of years, ended up finding the room.
And back in off the draw, the puck fired wide by Chouinard. He's parked out in front again, looking for another one on this shift. Ribeiro along the boards. Roulier is hanging back at the blue line, as well as Ryder. Ryder goes to the front of the net, tried to tip that low shot off the stick of Ribeiro. And the puck got caught up there in the mesh. And we get a whistle.
Chouinard ended up finding the room and putting Canada ahead now by 2 goals, but his great goal-scoring ability really showed. He had his head up, he took a look, he knew exactly where he wanted to put it. joked about him playing for his father. His father is Guy, the former National Hockey Leaguer that coaches the Quebec Ramparts.
First period summary is brought to you by Gatorade. Is it in you? Only one goal for Canada, and it came shorthanded. Chris Nilsson scored it on a nice setup from Brandon Reed at 16:02. Second Canadian goal, only one assist. It goes to Lundmark. Chouinard gets it. Hall looking for it along the boards. Back to the blue line. Tukio lofting it in. Richards. Got it along the boards, no further. Valtonen, number 20 for Finland, steps in over the blue line. Tried to get it ahead for Hall. That was picked off. And Canada once again controlling. Pettinger up to Richards, who chopped it in. This is Bell along the board, squeezed out of the play. Mantula gets it outside the blue line, and Richards back after it. We've played 3 minutes and 15 seconds of the second period. Canada leading Finland 2-0. Puck tapped out here. Rita, first round pick of the Edmonton Oilers. Out there circling, looking for that puck, but Canada once again controlling. They've done a great job in their own zone.
And once again, their defense are moving the puck well. That first pass, they don't have to carry it out. They just need to make a good, quick pass. Keep their head up.
Ladikinen with a long pass that bounced off a set of shin guards. Kinch chipping it back up for Canada. Ladikinen got to the Canadian line, but no further. This is Matt Kinch, right up the middle. A little bit too far for Malhotra to control. Nielsen gets to it. Down low to Malhotra. He'll work it back to Nielsen. Nobody in front yet. Nielsen taking a bit of a bump there from Vannanen, and then he upended him, and a penalty coming up against Canada. Ladikinen clears it in. Big rebound comes out. Knocked down at the blue line. Ryuta controlling for Finland. They had the extra attacker out there in the delayed penalty. Ryuta trying to spin around Malhotra. Things getting a little crowded there, so he dishes back. Vannanen tied up at the blue line, and the puck finally touched by a Canadian player. Nielsen got his stick on it, and Finland will go on the power play when we come back. It's time for all Canadians to make a commitment to better our hockey programs. Esquire and the Canadian Hockey Association are working together to develop minor hockey in Canada. $1 from each Esquire watch sold between October and March will go directly to the sponsorship and growth of minor hockey. Check out tsn.ca/ESQ or your participating Esquire dealer. Tell us about your team of superstars. They could receive Bauer merchandise and be the next Team Esquire stars to say, Between the Boards is brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game. And between the boards in the first period, Canada out-hitting Finland 18-12, outscoring them 1-0. And Finland leading slightly in the face-off department, 12-9. There's Chris Nilsson toweling off in the box. Finland will go on the power play for the third time in this game. They're 0 for 2. They've only managed a couple of shots on goal with the man advantage and gave up 1 goal. Mantula is back at the top of the point. They'll try to get it back to him. He's got a good low shot. Oh, and Jackman took the hit there, lost his helmet. And he retrieves the helmet as play continues. Bell in the corner for Canada up at the other end.
I thought Jokela got his elbow up on Jackman.
1:25 to go on the power play for Finland. Jokela taps it around back of the goal, but it's controlled there by Jackman. Helmet back in his head, and puck back down the ice. Mantula gets it up ahead. Jokela. And over the blue line, Jokela with Hämäläinen. Just trailing him there along the boards. Jokela leaves it there for Hämäläinen. Hämäläinen drops off. Miettinen drops it down low. Ryuta back for Miettinen. Jokela at the line, takes a shot up for Miettinen. Look at the traffic in front, and the puck was not going to make it through that maze. Miettinen. Hämäläinen. 37 seconds left in the power play. Ryuta Being watched there by Biron. Ryuta's lost his stick. Play continues. Meatman back to Jokela. Fired one, and that was deflected wide. 20 seconds left in the power play. And Canada holding tough in their own zone. That was Reed trying to get up to a loose puck. Niittymaki out to play it away.
Good job by Matthew Biron out there at defending. He's a big man. He's one of the 3 National Hockey Leaguers on this team.
Latikainen clearing it in, but he did not hold up long enough for his teammate. Offside called on Finland. 3 seconds left in the power play for Team Finland.
Well, I think Jokela should have got a penalty on that play. Watch as Jackman ends up coming out of the corner. You don't think that that was an elbowing penalty? Jokela got his elbow up right here, folks. His right elbow. Jackman ended up losing his helmet as a result of it.
I can guarantee you that had this game been taking place in the Western Hockey League, Jackman is not the kind of guy to turn the other cheek or other side of his jaw, as the case may be. But he was told, along with the rest of the team, to watch especially the retaliation penalties in this tournament.
Now, you've got to be able to take some of those hits and not retaliate. He'll get his opportunity.
Finland did not get a shot on goal during that power play. And they are 0 for 3 with the man advantage. Vannanen gets it up along the boards. Normio. That's knocked down. Roulier clearing it up ahead. Picked up by Olsen. Nips in over the blue line. Got away from a hit. And couldn't quite catch up to the puck in the corner.
Both teams getting their elbows up after this, or during this shift now.
Finland making changes in the go. We've played 7:15 of the second period. Long pass up to Ryder, and he tried to just slip around Mantula, but couldn't do it.
When Ryder got possession of that puck, there was nobody with him. So a great long pass, but yet Ryder wasn't able to find anybody with him.
And again, in this tournament, there is no center ice red line for the purpose of an offside pass. Hall clears it up. Tukio with a shot that is grabbed and held by Ouellet. Canada has 2 goals. Nielsen and Chouinard, and Ouellet has a shutout so far.
Isn't it cool that our bodies were designed to bend and move and be flexible? It's also cool that Always with Flexi Wings does all the same stuff. Looks like they took a lesson from us and designed a wing that moves like we do and wraps around really smoothly. The wings help my pads stay in place so much better, and the sides of my underwear are more protected than with my ordinary maxi, even when I twist or turn, making me feel as if wearing a pad is the most natural thing in the world. Always with Flexi Wings. Better protection.
Finland winning the faceoff in Canadian territory, and Rita trying to battle his way towards the front. It was knocked away. And the puck cleared down the ice by Lundmark. Played just over 8 minutes of this second period. And Canada with a goal in the first, shorthanded from Nielsen. Chouinard scoring here in the second. Jokela in over the blue line, and offside called on Finland. Bob McKenzie is right down beside the Canadian bench. What's up, Bob?
Well, what's up are quicker line changes for Team Canada, and the reason is very simple. The Finns don't try to match lines. They have the last change. They're throwing the guys over the boards right away every whistle. The referee's putting his hand up, and Canada's not getting in the change as quickly as the referee would like or as quickly as Canada would like. Claude Julien talked to the referee between periods. He's trying to hustle up a little bit, but he's also asking the referee for a little more time to make his changes.
Thanks, Bob. Jokela clearing it in off the draw there for Finland. Is it different in international hockey trying to change players? Richards moves it in, fires a shot, knocked down, rebounded, goal, scores! Hettinger picked up the rebound, and Canada picks up a 3-0 lead.
Well, once again, Canada have been making good passes. They've had their head up, and it all starts usually, folks, back in the defensive zone. Right at the blue line, Canada ends up picking up the puck, taking it away from 2 Finnish players who were looking for it, and then making the good play. Hettinger, who was standing right in front, went to the net, was looking for that opportunity, and after Richards ended up putting the puck to the net, Pettinger ended up doing the damage.
Pettinger gets the goal. He was a late addition to the Canadian final training camp roster. Brought in because of injuries. And here he is coming out in the first game and getting a goal.
That's one of the first 2-on-1 opportunities Canada have given up.
Play whistle down, a penalty behind the play, and it is going to go against Canada's Joe Roulier. So Finland will get another opportunity on the power play. It will be their 4th. It'll be a roughing call.
Well, Roulier is an aggressive player. He plays for Rimouski in the Quebec Junior Hockey League. Last year, he ended up with 202 penalty minutes. He's never represented Canada in any international hockey events. He's known for his physical play and his stay-at-home defensive play.
So, Gary, just to get back to the line change situation, is it tougher to change your lines in international hockey?
Well, because of the bigger ice surface you're referring to, or also
the
officiating
officiating.
too, the boards are a little over. But, well, they're not accustomed to it, especially the referees and linesmen from over here. Because, as Bob pointed out, Paul, of all the years I've been doing international hockey, very, very seldom do you ever see one of the coaches over here really look at line matchup. They like their 5-man units. They tend to roll them over, and they don't worry too much about who Canada is putting onto the ice.
Finland on the power play. They've managed 2 shots on goal during 3-man advantages and gave up a shorthanded goal. Offside called on Finland. Be sure to join us at the conclusion of this game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Rayovac.
Our battery lasts 80% longer.
We're 81% longer.
Instead of trash talk, how about some straight talk? Try Rayovac. If you don't think they're just as good, you get your money back. You can't lose. I like that.
Well, some of the critics have questioned Finland's team coming into this tournament, wondering whether or not they have the skill level and the size to actually compete for a medal. Anu Kapanen felt, though, that this team has great character on it. That they have the abilities. They have the abilities right now in order to do something with it. They better get it going in this game.
They have never had great success against Canada at this tournament since the program of excellence started for Canada in 1982. Finland is 2-5, make that 2-11-5 against Canada. 2-11-5. Their last win was in '98 in Helsinki. Niklas Hagman scored a late goal, and Finland won the game 3-2. Canada beat them last year 6-4. And another penalty coming up. And it is going to be a hooking call against Canada, so Finland will have a 2-man advantage.
Nike Skills Development Camps encourage minor hockey players to improve their fundamental skills of the game. Program coaching manuals provide easy, progressive techniques to teach our next generation of great players. Nike, proud supporters of the CHA.
Well, Nielsen ends up getting a penalty right here. I think that it was a pretty good dive by Jokela, who was the man earlier in this period guilty of handing out an elbow.
Nielsen scored Canada's shorthanded goal back in the first period.
Jokela even ended up taking a look, first of all, and then seemed to hesitate and then went down. But as Claude Julien has informed his team, you can expect lots of that in international competition.
Malhotra again taking the important face-off for Canada. He lost that one. It comes across Latikainen, top of the point. Vannanen up to Latikainen. Vannanen shooting. What a shot. The rebound comes out, and Rita couldn't get his stick on it. 45 seconds left in the 2-man advantage for Finland. Vannanen gets it up. Viukala. Latikainen shoots right on, and Ouellette down in that butterfly made the stop and holds on. 33 seconds left in the 2-man advantage.
You could tell that Ouellette was really ready for this. He realized that there was that extra 2 men out on the ice to defend against, and he was sharp. His concentration was right on. He was moving from his left to his right. He was really focused on where that puck was, knowing he'd have to move from his left to his right, right to his left very quickly. The Finns will move that puck around, use that open ice, and so as a result, Ouellette can't get caught down in one position. He's got to be quick on his feet, and so far he has been.
Puck comes back to Jokela. Gets it over. Vannanen steps up, shoots. That was tipped and went wide. Yanni Rita drops it off there along the boards. He'll head back towards the net. Vannanen gets it up. Jokela fires one right along the ice, and Ouellette coming across had the pads right down and was able to make the stop. Maxime Ouellette looking very composed in this one so far. Jokela works down low. Back to the line. Vannanen. One penalized player back on. Finland with a one-man advantage. Jokela shoots, and he misfired on that one. A one-man advantage for another 50 seconds for Finland. And a Finnish player on the ice back behind the play. That is Jere Jokela. And it's going to be a high sticking call against Canada.
Well, Rossiter ended up finding the room down the middle to throw the puck out of harm's way, but at the same time he ended up taking a penalty. Well, just prior to it is when he took the penalty. There you see it. That's where Rossiter got tagged. He ended up throwing the puck down the middle of the ice, all right. He found the right room, but unfortunately when he was following through, he ended up clipping the Finnish player. Very unintentional. Nevertheless, he gets a high sticking call.
So another two-man advantage for Finland. And it will last for 43 seconds.
I'm not sure that when you look at Canada's penalties so far in the game, you can really tag men as being undisciplined. That one was a pretty good example.
Along the boards, Ryuta trying to knock it down. Mantula up there to help out. Miettinen in the corner, looking for somebody in front. He's got Jokela back by the circle, and he gets it to him. Jokela. Miettinen shoots, and that was blocked. Jackman paid the price there. And a little buzz in his foot, but he's back up and okay. Miettinen in over the line, back for Jokela. One penalized player back on. Miettinen misfired on that occasion. 1:12 now to go in a one-man advantage for Finland. An extended power play for Team Finland. Jokela, top of the point, shoots. And you saw Bauk trying to drop down and block that. Canadian defenders, penalty killers in particular, doing a fine job of blocking shots in this game so far. And the pass missing there, and Finland is called for icing. They have 50 seconds remaining on the one-man advantage. We played 12:31 of the second period, and Canada is up by a score of 3-0. The official website of the Canadian Hockey Association features team player profiles, latest results, plus you can enter contests to win an autographed Team Canada jersey. Visit www.canadianhockey.ca, your Team Canada site.
Bob and Gord were talking in their intermission about blocking shots, paying the price. Well, Barrett Jackman did exactly that. He blocked that shot perfectly, ended up rebounding. It was such a hard shot. When it hit him, it went all the way out of the zone. The man they call the Bear ended up making a perfect block.
If first impressions are important, Jackman making a great one in his first game for Canada in this tournament. He showed discipline, poise, turned the other cheek, blocked shots. He's a character player. Ladikainen. Pass up ahead. Jokela in over the blue line. He'll wait for his mates to catch up. 27 seconds to go in the one-man advantage for Finland. They've struggled in the power play. They've had a couple of two-man advantages and not been able to pierce the armor yet. Ladikainen circling around in front. Reed is down there. Vannanen back at the line. Rita's in the slot. They can't get it to him. Vananen, top of the point, fires one. And that went up over top of Malhotra. And you can see Vananen and a couple of the other Finnish players getting frustrated with Canada's shot blocking. Rita got that one on goal, but it was a soft shot, and Ouellette able to cover it up. The teams are back at even strength. Big kills for Canada.
If you looked into the minds of the Taurus 2000 engineers, you'd see what they were thinking. Power adjustable pedals, a personal safety system with sensors that think about how to activate seatbelts and airbags. They were also thinking that a Taurus this safe should be an exhilarating ride. The Ford Taurus 2000. Good thinking.
This game brought to you by Ford. Ford Focus 2000. Expect more. Paul Romanek with Gary Green, Bob McKenzie, and Gord Miller. Merry Christmas to you. I hope it's been an enjoyable day so far. Canada enjoying early success in this game. They're up 3-0 against Finland, just past the halfway point of the second period. Puck cleared in by Ribeiro. Came in to finish the check. Wasn't able to pick up the puck, though. Kakuri couldn't get it out. Chouinard. Ryder trying to knock it loose. Chouinard worked it across. It comes out. Roulier just fired it wide. Puck dumped right out in front. Chouinard was there, and so was Ryder. Neither could get their stick on it. Roulier firing it back in for Canada. Sam O'Canis trying to shake off some persistent forechecking there from Ribeiro. Finally gets it up ahead. Kakuri waiting for a bit of help. Normio up there after it. Kakuri back for Tukio, or intended for Tukio. That was broken up.
Ryder had to push the linesman out of the way to get at the puck.
Roulier dumps it off the boards and out. Mantula couldn't get it any further than the Canadian blue line. Mittinen up for Ryuta. Puck gets by Tukio. Here comes Bell in for Canada. Bell tried to feather it across in front of the net, and it was blocked by Mantula. A nice play for Mantula. Pettinger was going for the front of the goal. And Mantula gets it to the line, not out. Fire back in by Bell just wide. Richards up after it. Pettinger up there as well. Jackman chips it up back of the goal. Richards leaping into the play, trying to control that bouncing puck. Richards gets it in front, and the pass a little high for Bell. He had to put it up there, though, to get it over a couple of sticks. Bell goes in deep, trying to shake off the checker. Richards up there in support. He was upended by Tukio. And the puck goes up over the glass and in amongst the spectators. Canada's up 3-0.
To play.
Welcome back. Paul Romanek with Gary Green, and Canada leading 3-0 against Team Finland as they get set for this face-off. Canada trailing in the face-off department in this second period, 8-5 to Finland. Off the glass. Biron there at the blue line, not able to keep it in. Laine gets it up in towards the corner. Laine after it there along the boards. He was tied up. And another penalty coming up. It is going to be a holding call And it will go against Finland. So Canada will go on the power play. It will be their third opportunity of the game.
Young man we talked about that will be a high draft pick this year in the NHL draft, no doubt anyway, that plays for Jokerit. He ended up with a hooking penalty for the work that he was doing on Brandon Reed.
That's Teemu Laine in the penalty box. And he was initially rated on some lists 11 at the start of the year on the prospects list for the 2000 draft, and he's moved up. The last one I saw had him ranked 7th. Jokela gets it up around the boards and just tipped out. Oh, the puck turned over there, given away. Valtonen waltzes in and knifed a backhand shot wide. Lundmark with a giveaway there.
He went to give it back to his defenseman, Paul, but didn't take a look first and got caught.
This is Kinch. Works it up ahead. Canada on the power play, and the puck just trickled wide there. Malhotra gets it around back of the net. Malhotra, Bout, and Heatley up front on this power play. Kinch is back at the blue line, and Lundmark also playing back there. Normally a forward, but they had him back at the left point. This is Matt Kinch. 55 seconds to go in the Canadian power play. Lundmark trying to squeeze along the boards there. It was a little tight, but he managed to get the puck back. Couldn't get it in any further, however. 40 seconds left with the man advantage for Canada. Steve McCarthy starting out. Ribeiro over the blue line, was bumped there along the wall, and the puck cleared by Latikainen.
Ribeiro was really crunched along the wall. He was hit heavily. He's not a very big guy at about 165 pounds. He feels those hits.
15 seconds left in the power play for Canada. Mantula gave it away. Ribeiro comes in over the line. Gets it back. McCarthy works it back up to Ribeiro. Out to Chouinard. Looking to fight through the check, and he got it in on goal. Chouinard had at least one player draped on his back, and with a fine display of strength was able to get the puck on net.
Well, Claude Julien has talked to his team about making sure they keep possession of that puck. Take a look earlier on this power play opportunity. Jamie Lundmark got caught. He had the puck right here, folks, but look at what he ended up doing with it. He ended up giving it right back to the Finnish player. Valtonen was deep in Canada's end. He got caught there, and he ended up with possession of the puck.
Teams are back at even strength. Here's Pettinger, slams on the brakes. Pettinger still with it. And Jay Bouwmeester taking his first shift of the game. He is out there with Ryder back in the blue line. Bouwmeester right on left defense. Here's Pettinger. Working up. Ryder was all alone in the slot, but Pettinger couldn't get the puck across to him. Biron clears it in. Now Ryder moving up into the play. Biron clears it back in. Less than a minute to go in this second period. Canada is up 3-0. Bouwmeester gets his first shift. Didn't touch the puck, but he was into the game. Here's Nilsson moving up. Fired that one wide. And by taking that shift, Bouwmeester officially becoming the youngest player ever to play for Canada in the World Junior Hockey Championship. Malhotra back of the net, trying to get it out in front. It was tapped away. Lindholm coming back for Finland. 25 seconds to go in the period. Normio trying to drive around Rossiter. Good job. Got a shot on goal, and Ouellette holds on to it.
Well, the much talked about Jay Bouwmeester He's 6'3", 195 pounds. We've all been talking about this young man because of his size, his skill, and also his age. He only turned 16 years of age in September, which, as Paul pointed out, makes him the youngest player ever to play for Canada in the World Junior Hockey Championship. He won't be of draft age until 2002, so that's when the NHL scouts will get an opportunity to really concentrate on this man, but they've already been talking about him. We got an opportunity, Paul, to watch him play last year in the Canada Winter Games. He was a standout there playing for Team Alberta.
Bannon with a shot, ticked the side of the goal. 10 seconds to go in the period. This is Hall. Gets it up. Lineup. Fires one, and that appeared to handcuff Willett. It bounces down. And that will do it for period number 2. Teemu Laine with a wild shot from just inside the blue line. And Willett ended up taking it off the shoulder, but it looked like one of those ones, the goalie's nightmare. Do I use my shoulder, my glove, my catcher?
And for the skaters that are out there on the ice for Canada, when they see that high pop fly, they start wondering whether or not it was going in the net. That's what Stephen McCarthy thought, so he was going to try to play net and keep it out. He was looking. He ended up knocking Ouellette over as well, knocked the net off of its moorings, but the puck stayed out.
And it bounced down. Actually, it looked as though it hit the ice in the crease from that overhead angle. There was some brief protestations from the Finns afterwards that Canada had intentionally dislodged the net.
And I think McCarthy, by that replay, also hit his head on the crossbar.
Yeah, he was going in hard towards the goal.
He was just watching the puck. That was all.
Take another look and see if he ends up hitting his head. He certainly hit the net hard. I look just...
His head ended up hitting the post right there, folks, and that's what caused the damage.
Got the double. He got it in the ribs just underneath his arm, not an area with a lot of equipment, and then his noggin bounced off the bar. But fortunately, it looks like Steve McCarthy is okay.
And he kept the puck out.
Well, as Dennis might be happy. It's about the only guy. Here's Gord Miller.
All right, thank you, Paul. Steve McCarthy still shaking off the effects of that collision with the goal. Coming up in our second intermission, Bob McKenzie will stop by. We'll have scores from other games that are being played today. Kyle Rossiter is our Canadian classic from this period. Team Canada extends the lead now to 3-0 over Finland at the World Junior.
This is great! At midnight, we'll eat our way into the new millennium with this gigundo party sub from Subway.
And no bacon on my section.
Eat your way into the new millennium with delicious 6-foot party subs and party platters from Subway.
4, 3, 2. Oh, well, there's always the next millennium.
Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
So, Wayne, how are you going to score points now?
I really want to try rodeo.
Pretty dangerous.
The great one now waiting patiently. He's obviously very pensive.
This is going to leave a mark. Old 99 is getting thrashed.
You got to give him points for style. Do you want points? Want to win in Durango? Got an SO Extra card? So use it. Now you can win and earn at SO.
One-handed. Pretty good.
Shaking well, and...
ouch! Look out! He's getting up. Look at the smile on his face.
That's amazing.
Swipe the card, win and earn.
Come here, let me look at it. How many? 4. Look here, look here.
Go. All right, do it. Go.
Where's the goal? It's a Canadian game.
Then the trucks came over the hill.
The net when the puck went in the air, and the goaltender Maxime Ouellette didn't know where it was. If he did do it intentionally, McCarthy certainly paid the price. He lost at least a couple of teeth and sustained some cuts in and around his mouth. So McCarthy paying the price for the net going off the moorings in the last seconds of the period.
All right, Bob, thank you. Well, let's send it back to Paul and Gary for the third period.
Thanks, Gord. Kapanen, the Finnish coach, was pleading his case to the Swiss referee, but alas, he was neutral on the issue.
Well, I think that he gave Canada a fair number of penalties in the second period of play, and in this third, what can we expect from Canada? Well, going into the second, I think that we expected them to move the puck better. They did that. They ended up with a couple of goals with their good puck movement. They may try to defend this 3-goal lead in this third period. I shouldn't say they might want to defend it. Yes, they do, but they, at the same time, I don't think they want to lay back here and give the Finns the opportunity to do what they do best.
In a moment here early in this third period, let's take a look back at the second period. The summary is brought to you by Cheerios. It all starts here. Canada with a couple of goals, Chouinard and Pettinger getting on the board. Again, I mentioned Pettinger was a last-minute addition to Canada's final training camp in December, played his way onto the team, scores here in the first game, and has really hustled in all the ice time that he's seen. Just underway in period number 3. And
Malhotra won that draw.
Yeah, Malhotra struggled on the faceoffs the first couple of periods.
Well, he didn't get used much at all with the New York Rangers this year. And so he may be a little out of game shape when it comes to timing. He works extremely hard in his conditioning. Playing in games and having your timing on is a different story.
It's a point that I and many others have made time and time again, but why Manny Malhotra wasn't returned to junior hockey last year by the New York Rangers. He basically, for my money, wasted a year of his development, and it's nice that the Rangers have freed him up to come to this tournament, but what a wasted year. Cancampera back in his own zone, clears it up, and again going for that pass, the long high-risk pass, but he missed and ends up getting caught for icing. Between the boards, brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game, and Canada out-hitting Finland. Finland's power play has really struggled, 0 for 6, and they have given up a shorthanded goal. Here's Bob McKenzie.
Yeah, defenseman Steve McCarthy is expected back in a short while. He's been stitched up, lost a couple of front teeth, but is expected back in the next few minutes to participate in this game.
Well, that's good news for Team Canada. He's a tough player. Canadian players always amaze hockey fans. They lose teeth, they get cut, and they end up coming back and playing.
Heatley up back into goal, looking for Lundmark in front. Brandon Reed also up there, trying to force the issue. Biron gets it down in the corner, cleared around by Cancampera. Normio bouncing it out to center. Bouncing puck controlled by Lindholm, fires a shot, and that is held by Ouellette.
Ouellette has done everything that was expected of him. He has faced so many extra man advantages by the Finns and has been sharp, especially on the 5-on-3 situations when you really had to move around.
And there's Brian Finley, who was with the Canadian team last year. He got into only 20 minutes playing behind the great Roberto Luongo, who was the first All-Star team goaltender at the tournament. Finley and Ouellette were also teammates on Canada's national under-18 team. And in that tournament, Willett was Finley's backup. That's Jay Bomeister out onto the ice. His second shift of the game.
For over 20 years, Air Canada has sponsored Canadian hockey, from World Championships to 5 regional midget events and the national final, the Air Canada Cup. Each year, Air Canada is pleased to present scholarships to the top players at these tournaments. Air Canada, proud supporters of the CHA.
Jay Bomeister will end up getting eased into this tournament. He'll get a little bit of ice time, a little bit more ice time, I think, as the tournament goes on. He definitely has good offensive capabilities, as shown this year in the Western Hockey League. He's already got 7 goals and 11 assists in 30 games, top 10 scorers.
Jason Spezza, the other 16-year-old in the Canadian lineup, has only seen one shift. He got a bit of action on a Canadian 2-man advantage. Puck bouncing loose in front. Chouinard swing and a miss. Trying to control a wobbling puck. Finally picked up by Vananen, and he gets it out.
I should mention top 10 scores amongst them.
Up ahead, here comes Ribeiro breaking in and tried to pull it back to the forehand, and a nice poke check by Antero Niittymaki.
Well, Finland ended up getting caught on a bad change, and the Canadians almost took advantage of it. Mike Ribeiro ended up getting the opportunity, but as you can see here, they all end up heading, except for one man, to the bench. Ribeiro tried to make the deke, but Niittymaki ended up using his stick, poke check Ribeiro.
Nice try by Ribeiro. Was kind of backing across in front, trying to go from forehand to forehand. Puck cleared up. Pettinger up to Richards. Steps in over the line. Richards drops it back. Bell couldn't control the pass. And Miettinen relieved of the puck there at his own blue line. 17 minutes to go in the third period, and Canada with a 3-0 lead in control in this opening game of the World Junior Hockey Championship. Finland since 1982. And the start of the Canadian program of excellence with only 2 victories against Canada. Kinch clears it up. Ladikainen, Canada on a change. Roulier getting a little bit of help from Biron. Up to Bauk, who clears it out.
Canada making sure they just move that puck smartly. Set their heads up. Got to make the perfect pass.
Puck got by Biron, and Bauk back to pick it up.
Biron was able to pinch because he had support coming back.
Malhotra got it up cross ice and just steered in by Nielsen. Kankampera gets it up along the boards and down the ice. Lindholm motoring up after it, but Finland on a change, so he didn't have any support. Jokela. See if he goes for that long pass again. Up ahead, and Lindholm couldn't knock it down. Kankampera not able to keep it in. Nice move there by Normio. Gained the blue line, but then lost possession of the puck. Do you like that long pass? It's got a pretty low success rate.
You know, when we watched it last year, I don't think many people raved about it. On the other hand, not many people complained about it. It's got its pluses, Paul, but the one thing I don't like about it is that it tends to force the defenseman to back up too often.
Laine fired that one, and offside called on Team Finland. We'll be right back.
For every guy who knows clean is a relative term. For every guy with the ability to follow more than 3 programs.
Stephen McCarthy has rejoined his team. What a tough character. Chicago's first-round draft pick, actually played 5 games for Chicago this year with a goal and assist, minus a few teeth, but ends up coming back to support his teammates.
Been named the top defenseman in Kootenay in the Western Hockey League the last 2 years. Striding up after it is Chouinard. Got it across in front of the net. Chouinard will get another chance here. Centers it right out in front, and Ribeiro was being tied up. Chouinard still after it. This is a Canadiens line of Ryder, Ribeiro, and Chouinard has impressed in this opening game. Meanwhile, Laine up along the boards. He was given a bump. Valtonen back of the net trying to get it back out for Laine. He was being tied up. Ribeiro just whips it in. Vaninen stepped away from the check and got the puck out. Tukio moves it up ahead. Vuokola tied up there along the boards. Ryuta, number 22 for Finland, kicks the puck loose, but it came outside the blue line.
I think Canada are trying to be a little cautious here to make sure that they don't take the number of penalties they did in the first 2 periods. That's a good way to think of defending your lead.
Puck steered out. Pettinger lost possession. Miettinen tips it in for Finland. Pettinger throws it back to the line. Ryuta fires it up. Here comes Richards. Up for Canada. Pettinger over on the left wing. Bell is with him there at the line. Al Bell stepping up after it. Pettinger coming in. Normio for Finland. Picked off by Pettinger.
Pettinger really anticipated that pass perfectly.
Pettinger clears it in. Richards steals it back in the net. Got it out in front, but there was nobody home. Here's Bauk. Bounced away from him. Bell coming up after it. Gave Latikainen a little hack. Normio working it across. Kokari up towards the corner. Biron squeezing him out of the play. Bauk trying to chop it loose. Nielsen. This is Bell for Canada. Gets it up ahead. Nielsen and over the blue line. Bauk is with him. Tyler Bauk up into the corner. Holmstrom back of the goal. Trying to fight his way loose against Hall. And that was intercepted. Laine coming back. Wheels in over the blue line, and look at Biron. He's got size of his, just pushed his man out of the play.
17 games in the National Hockey League this year, and he's showing his veteran capabilities out there tonight.
That is an icing call on Canada. 12 minutes to go in the third period. Canada up 3-0.
Avoid the lineups and shop online at chapters.ca right now to take advantage of huge Boxing Week specials on books, music, videos, DVDs, and software.
National Car Rental gets you in your car and on the road fast. And frequent renters can join National's Emerald Club to move even faster. At National Car Rental, green means go.
This third period is brought to you by Subway, the way a sandwich should be. Here again is Bob McKenzie.
Well, Paul, not too long ago, the Finnish team got caught on a bad line change. It won't be the first time or the last time in this tournament. The ice is so wide internationally, but also the benches are so long that the Canadian assistant coach, Todd McClellan, told me that you try to change one defenseman at a time. You never try to change two, and that's what the Finns were guilty of.
Puck comes back off the faceoff, and chipped just wide of the goal by Jani Rita. Rita, number 22. Played an impressive game for Finland. Trying to go back towards the front of the net, looking for a loose puck. That was Vaninen with the hit. Heatley trying to work it loose. Miettinen back to the line. Vaninen shoots one. Went off a skate. It's loose in the slot. Finland trying to mount a charge here. They are down 3-0. Blanked so far in this one by some solid Canadian defense. There's Rita in front. Great save. Rebound scores. The defense has been solid, but Antti Miettinen found a little bit of a crack in the wall that time.
Well, Miettinen went high, and that's the place to go when you know that there's a lot of traffic in front. Ouellette made the first save right here with his left pad. But then when he is down, there's an awful lot of room left up top. Ouellette had to go down, did the butterfly in order to keep that first shot out right here. And that he did well. But then he could not get up in time in order to cover that top corner glove side. And that's exactly the room that Miettinen found.
Miettinen, a 19-year-old. He is undrafted, plays for HPK in the Finnish Elite League. And he gets his team on the scoreboard in this game. Ouellette made the initial stop, but there was a little bit of room up top in the rebound.
And that's what goaltenders are expected to do. Stop the first one, and then the forward coming back and the defensemen have got to make sure they clear those loose pucks out of there, or take the man at least that are capable of doing exactly what Miettinen did.
So the puck was tapped with a high stick. And the Finnish player, the centerman out there, Kokari, wondering where the faceoff should be. But they'll just line it up right on the dot. I guess split the difference. Normio gets it up along the boards. Jackman knocked it down up towards the corner. Ryder gets it back of the goal. Chouinard, quick pass in front of the net. Ryder shoots off the post. And the puck cleared down the ice. An icing call on Finland. Great chance in front of the net. Michael Ryder was set up nicely by Chouinard.
Well, after the Finns scored, Canada had to come back with a real good shift, and that's exactly what they did. Ryder with that great opportunity. He got a good shot away, but the post ended up helping the Finns out. Canada really ended up putting good pressure on here. They got possession of the puck, and as you can see, Ryder ended up getting that good shot away. Unfortunately, just couldn't find the room. Post was in the way, but Canada needs a couple of more good shifts like that right now.
Like the way Chouinard got to that puck. Very fast pass. I guess trying to catch the Finnish defenseman flat-footed, and it worked.
Well, Canada picked it up, that shift, Paul. They ended up moving their feet better than they had in this third period, where they were in a little bit of a cautious defensive mode.
Mantilla clears it out. Bell coming back in. Richards with him. Bell fires it across. Just rolled by Pettinger.
See, that's unfortunately the problem. Canada in the first two periods played aggressively, and their feet were moving. Then they were concerned about penalties here in the third period. They tend to back off a little bit.
Here comes Richards. Gets a wrist shot, just drifted it in on goal. And Niittymaki hanging on to it.
The Royal Bank Financial Group has developed the Toonie Toss fundraising program, a fun way to raise money for minor hockey. Toss a toonie from the stands. One nearest the target wins great prizes. Proceeds from the event go directly to your community hockey program. The Royal Bank, proud supporters of the CHA.
Oh, if you remember the last time the All-Star game was in Canada, out in Vancouver, it was a great game between the national women's teams for Canada and the U.S. The game being played in Toronto this year on All-Star Weekend. 872-5000, the number to call if you want tickets. It was a great game. The building in Vancouver, GM Place, was packed to the rafters. Here's Malhotra. Here's it in. Teams at even strength. We've just passed the 10-minute mark of this third period. Canada with a 3-1 lead. Jani Rita couldn't wheel in that pass. And another icing call on Team Finland.
You know, Paul, I just want to go back, and you talked about it being a wasted year last year. I don't think you totally meant that, because yes, I agree with you. He should have been back playing junior hockey. You and I, no arguments with that. However, when you spend a year with Wayne Gretzky, Adam Graves, playing in the National Hockey League, you can learn an awful lot just practicing with the great players that he did. Brian Leach out there. Manny Malhotra gained an awful lot from last year. Unfortunately, this should have been the year that he would have received a lot more ice time than he did last year, and his production would have been up. However, that hasn't been the case this year, and the New York Rangers, John Muckler, has decided not to use him as much. He's only averaged about 6 minutes per game that he has played. Last year, he had 8 goals and 8 assists. Respectable for a first-year player in the National Hockey League at his age.
Reed trying to move up after the puck. You know what? You're absolutely right. I hadn't thought of that, quite honestly. Some great experience just absorbing the knowledge from guys like Wayne Gretzky and being in a big league environment. I guess where he suffered was playing time. That may have stunted his development a little, but you're right. Being around Wayne Gretzky and an NHL team could never hurt. Here comes Reed. Dancing in over the blue line, but he misstepped and lost the puck there to Samuelcanis. This is Kinch up for Lundmark. And the puck cleared in, but an offside call on Team Canada. Canada up 3-1. Game 1 of the World Junior Hockey Championship.
This is great! At midnight, we'll eat our way into New Millennium with the Gigundo Party Sub from Subway.
And no bacon on my section.
Eat your way into the new millennium with delicious 6-foot party subs and party platters from Subway.
4, 3, 2.
Oh, well, there's always the next millennium.
Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
World Junior Hockey Championship continues on TSN Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Canada against the Czech Republic. Czech Republic has never won a gold medal at the World Junior Hockey Championship. And there was a mistake on that time. Sorry about that. The typewriter got jammed on me. It's a 1:30 Eastern Time start.
Oh, you do it all, don't you?
Valton trying to work it back towards the blue line. Lane. Well, Finland has just not been able to figure out the Canadian defense in their own zone. The forwards back helping out. They've really made it tough for the Finns. Puck rolls towards the corner. Hall.
Kieran didn't know where the puck was.
Valtonen back for Mantila. He was checked. Laine in over the blue line. Trying to slide it through there for Valtonen. Waiting for a little bit of help. Up for Laine. And he couldn't convert on the pass.
I like the way Canada played in the first 2 periods better than I do the way they're playing here in this third. They really are being tentative.
Biron dropping it back for Kinch. Up for Ribeiro. Gets it up ahead. Ryder tried to use the screen there, but couldn't get the shot on goal. Miettinen back for Finland. Gets it up ahead. Puck fired on goal by Rita. Up after his own rebound. Scores! Rita took the initial shot. And I believe that was Arto Latikainen. No, check that. It was Antti Miettinen who picked up the rebound. And Finland pulls to within 1.
The combination works again. Rita ends up with the opportunity. There's the bouncing puck. Now watch Bell right here. He went down and tried to block the shot. You know, sometimes going down and blocking the shot works, but if you commit yourself too soon before you know where that puck's actually going, you can end up costing yourself. And Bell went down too soon. He should have been attacking the puck carrier rather than trying to block the shot.
Miettinen with his second goal of the game.
And Miettinen ended up getting his head up. And he was smart at the way that he saw the opportunity.
Nilsson shoots one. That was tipped wide. So suddenly, Canada finding itself in a close one. Played 12 minutes and 45 seconds of this third period. Canada had a 3-0 lead to start the period, but Finland with a pair and time to work with. Here comes Hall. Whirling along the boards. He was stopped there at the blue line by Rossiter. Jackman. Pocket picked by Hall. Gets a shot. Looked as though he was trying to go between the legs of Ouellette, but the Canadian keeper covering up.
You know, when coaches talk about committing yourself, going down, blocking shots, doing the little things that it takes, sacrifice, determination, well, it also requires good judgment. And I want to be all over Mark Bell's case here, but on that last goal, Mark Bell isn't a player who usually ends up blocking a lot of shots. He's a gifted scorer. He's a good puck handler. But in this situation, he should have been attacking the puck carrier. And watch right in here. There goes Bell. He goes down to try to block the shot, and instead, he should have been standing on his feet and attacking the puck carrier. So it's nice to be committed and have heart and block shots, but at the same time, you've got to do them at the right time. Sometimes shot blocking can be overrated if it's not done at the opportune time. Whoa.
Boak running into Mantilla. Puck bouncing around there in front of Ouellette.
Mantilla has definitely been the most aggressive player for Finland today. He's handed out some good hits. He is a gritty player.
Well, he's gone to the bench after that hit. He attempted to dish it out, stepped into Bouk, and he got the worst of it by far.
I could hear the wind come out of his sails right up here.
Malhotra gets it around back of the goal. Here's Bouk. Bouk trying to kick it loose there for Nielsen. And Rita fighting his way back. Hits center. Dancing in over the blue line. Rita drops it off. Miettinen sliding it there to the trailer. Owl Silta just fired it wide. Here comes Richards. Flying in over the blue line. And he just dishes up towards the corner. The Finns are flying now in this third period. Rita in particular seems to have turned it up.
They've got their confidence now. They know they can score. They're skating quicker. They're moving the puck faster.
Pettinger bouncing it around back of his own net. Barrett Jackman getting it out to center. 5 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the third period. Canada with a 3-2 lead. They led 3-0 to start the period. Valtonen dancing his way to the corner. Jackman trying to keep a handle on him. Kapuri is knocked down. Into the corner. Cancampera got it back. Carrying down for Canada is Bell. Canada getting in a change. Bell hauled down there. No penalty on the play.
Canada have made good changes today. Bob McKenzie was talking about the difficulty of making line changes. The Finns have had difficulties, but Canada have been very smart on their changes, have been waiting for that puck to be deep in the corner, just as it was a few seconds ago.
Jokela back for Finland. Ribeiro standing tough there just outside the blue line. Cancampera knifes it up the middle. Miettinen out there with Rita. Miettinen has a pair in this game. Rita assisted on the last one. And they're up working in tandem in the corner. Rita trying to get away from the grip of Kinch.
Canada have got to adjust right now to the speed that the Finns have found in this third period, and this late third period.
Cancampera gets it up around the boards. Ribeiro clearing it in.
Canada were having an easier time of it in the first couple of periods. The Finns weren't skating nearly as quickly as they are right now.
Chouinard tips it up ahead. In front of the net, the puck rolling around. Ribeiro was looking for it, but he was pulled down. Time winding down in this one, and the end can't come quickly enough for Canada. They're up by 1.
In 1996, 21 million business people used the internet. By 2003, it will be 181 million. Can your network cope? AT&T, the network the world works on.
Welcome back. Tension is high on the Canadian bench right now. The number one word being spoken by all coaches is get it deep. Canadian players turning that puck over at the Finnish blue line more often than the coaches like.
All right, thanks, Bob McKenzie. Finland up here on the attack. They have scored 2, need 1 more to tie as time winds down in the third period. Up along the boards. Viukala dropping it off. Vannanen getting it back to the blue line. Samuelkanis. Nice move to get loose. Drops it back. Miettinen waiting, winding, shooting. Right on, and Willett turned that aside. Miettinen has a pair, and he had a chance to wind up for a clean shot on that opportunity. Viukala tried to get it across in front for Rita. And Canada getting the puck out. Here's Bauk moving it ahead for Malhotra. Tried to drop it back. Bauk was breaking towards the goal, and Nielsen was up there as the trailer.
And Malhotra got crunched into the glass and the boards.
And he is hurting heading back to the bench. Meanwhile, Valtonen cutting it on goal. It was right in front and cleared away. Willett made the initial stop.
And the Finns going to the net well here. They're showing some aggression.
That was Tomek Valtonen who walked right up. Laine, number 15, up towards the corner. Hall comes up to help out. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to play. Canada leading 3-2, but Finland is pressing late in this game. The puck cleared up, and it gets away over the glass and out of play.
I don't know what it is, and Claude Julien won't be happy about it, but in this third period, I mentioned about them being tentative before the Finns all of a sudden scored a couple of goals. Well, now they're within one, but Canada, for some reason, are thinking defense. See, in that situation, once again, going down, trying to block shots. Watch here. Instead of heading straight out to attack the man, they're laying back as though they were killing a penalty. Canada are thinking defend instead of being aggressive and attacking. They've got the skill, they can skate, they can handle the puck. They've shown that in the first couple of periods. Now's no time. Even though you're defending a one-goal lead, still a good defense is out of a good offense, whereby you put the puck in deep. Bob McKenzie was talking about the coaches on the bench, referring to the fact, put it deep. Canada have used their size and strength today to get possession of the puck. Hannu Kapanen knows that. And right now, Canada's kind of playing into the Finns' hands. They're laying back, not being aggressive. And I pointed out earlier that maybe that's because they took an awful lot of penalties in the first couple of periods that they wanted to avoid in the third when they had the 3-0 lead. But on the other hand, they've lost that intensity and that aggressiveness, and Claude Julien right now is trying to get that back from his team. At the same time, you start looking up at the clock, and as a coach, you're thinking, look, let's just play it safe. That can oftentimes be a dump and chase with 1 man in, 4 men back game, but at the same time, you really don't want to let the Finns have the puck for any more than they've already had it here in this third period.
The timeout called by Canada. And they get set to drop the puck. Now that hesitation that we've seen from the Canadian defenders in the third, does that have anything to do with the lack of familiarity?
No, you know something, Paul? It happens in every single league practically. Whenever you're in a third period and you've got a big lead, it's just natural, it seems.
Miettinen fires it up wide of the goal. Here comes Malhotra. Lost the puck just outside the blue line. Rita muscling back in, got a backhand shot away. Willett turn that aside. Look for the Finnish goaltender to head towards the bench. He's looking in that direction. Finland trying to tie this one up. Miettinen back to the line. Viukala with a shot. That's turned back. Gets his own rebound. Miettinen in front. Rita with a shot. Point blank. He had a great chance, but Yanni Rita was not able to get it by the Canadian goaltender, Maxime Willett.
And that's all the Finns are trying to do right now. They're crowding the net on Ouellette, and so they are trying just to get that puck through. There's been blocked shots. They've seen lots of that today from the Canadians. And right now, they're just concentrating on trying to get that puck in front. But look at the number of bodies in front of Ouellette. So as a result, it's tougher for him. There have been a lot of red sweaters back there helping Ouellette, but sometimes there can be too many, in fact. It can add to the screen on Ouellette. And if there's 4 players back with only 2 white sweaters in front, that means there's some men open out there in the offensive zone for the Finns.
Niittymaki, the Finnish goaltender, still in goal with 1.5 minutes to go. Niittymaki has played a lot in the Finnish Elite League with the senior team at TPS. That's a team located in Turku. And he's looked pretty solid in this one. Off the draw, Kinch gets it up. Bell Couple of whacks at it, not able to get it out. Finland jumping right up there, aggressively going for the tie. Trailing 3-2. Hall from the corner, trying to work it out in front. Valtonen out there with him. He's a dangerous sniper. Vannanen clearing it up. Pinch after it. Laine right on him. Biron couldn't get a bouncing puck out. He'll go after it. Biron works it up, and finally Canada able to get it out.
Good play by Bell, just chipping that puck out finally. Canadian wingers were having a tough time at getting that puck out of danger in their own end.
And Finland gets called for icing. An inopportune icing call against the Finns, inopportune for them. Only 45 seconds to go in the game, and they trail Canada 3-2.
Both Bell and Lundmark were having difficulties at being able to get possession of the puck along the boards and then get it up and out of danger. The Finnish defensemen were pinching as they should be at this point in time in the game. And for the Canadians, they get a break here with that icing call.
Canada had a tough game to start the tournament last year. They faced a Slovak team that was just coming off of an emotional opening win over the Czechs. And they were pumped up against Canada. Teams ended up battling to a 0-0 draw. So Canada in tough in the opening game this year as well. Not always a bad thing.
Big face-off, and Malhotra won it. Won it cleanly.
And great work along the boards by Mark Bell. Tyler Balk up there. Knocks it up ahead. Here's Malhotra. Malhotra. Not able to hold on to it. And Finland with the full court press here. The goaltender goes to the bench. They get the extra attacker out. Vannanen dumping it in. Jackman gets it up around the boards. At the line, Vannanen not able to keep it in. 7 seconds left. Puck just cleared up. See if Finland can muster one more shot. Hall after it. Picks up. Jackman controls, and Canada picks up the win. In game number 1, they hang on for a 3-2 victory over Finland.
Well, in the dying seconds of this hockey game, Canada sacrificed their bodies in order to get in front of the Finnish players who were attacking the puck. And Claude Julien's team comes out with that very important first win, and they will have learned through this game, especially their performance in the third period. They'll get something from that performance.
Chris Nielsen, Eric Chouinard, and Matt Pettinger scoring for Canada. And they squeak out a 3-2 victory over a tough Finnish team.
Freedom. Control. Just you and your laptop. Log on to autobytel.ca for vehicle pricing, product reviews, and a low, no-haggle price. Autobytel.ca, the road to your next car.
For every guy who'd rather swing a club than dance in one. For every guy who's ever prepared a gourmet meal. For every guy who knows exactly why they're man's best friend. And for every guy who appreciates the benefits of being a guy, we'd like to introduce you to the Dodge Durango. It has the most cargo space, towing capacity, and power of any SUV in its class. The Dodge Durango. It's good to be a guy.
We build it, you come. Much Music's Big Shiny Tunes 4. You get Lenny Kravitz, Moist, Fatboy Slim, Chemical Brothers, Tea Party, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Goo Goo Dolls, Blink-182. 17 tracks that are built to last. Construction is complete on Big Shiny Tunes 4. In stores now.
There's so many savings at Walmart store-wide Boxing Week blowout. I can't possibly show it to you all in 30 seconds, but I'm going to try. Let's move. Save on selected exercise equipment. Save on Christmas decorated housewares. TVs, videos, video games, CDs. Save on sheets, pillows, towels, and rugs. Slippers and boots for men, women, and children. Save on gloves, hats, and scarves.
The Walmart Boxing Week blowout. It's big, real big.
Wait, there's more!
Tissot, the Swiss brand, preferred by the Swiss themselves.
The ultimate place to play.
Now time for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Rayovac Batteries. In the second period, Team Canada with a 2-0 lead when Brad Richards takes the shot. The rebound cash by Matt Pettinger. What appeared to be just an insurance goal at the time turned out to be the game winner in Canada's 3-2 victory over Team Finland. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Rayovac. All the power of the other guys for less. Team Canada opens this tournament with a 3-2 win over Finland. Back with more of our live coverage of the World Junior Hockey Championship after this.
It's time for all Canadians to make a commitment to better our hockey programs. Esquire and the Canadian Hockey Association are working together to develop minor hockey in Canada. $1 from each Esquire watch sold between October and March will go directly to the sponsorship and growth of minor hockey. Check out tsn.ca/ESQ or your participating Esquire dealer. Tell us about your team of superstars. They could receive Bauer merchandise and be the next Team Esquire stars to say,
For every guy who'd rather swing a club than dance in one. For every guy who's ever prepared a gourmet meal. For every guy who knows exactly why they're man's best friend. And for every guy who appreciates the benefits of being a guy, we'd like to introduce you to the Dodge Durango. It has the most cargo space, towing capacity, and power of any SUV in its class. The Dodge Durango. It's good to be a guy.
Come here, let me look at it. How many? 4. Look here, look here. Go. All right, do it. Go.
Where's the goal?
It's a Canadian game.
3 years ago, my IT guys told me there'd be 2 kinds of businesses. Those with a vision to master the internet, and those without. And we didn't want to be the second kind. So we called Dell. Dell came to see us and showed us how to use the internet for direct relationships with our customers, suppliers, everyone who's a part of our business. With Dell support, there's no limit to where we can go. We always knew we needed the internet. We just didn't know how badly.
Be direct. Dell. Dell servers use Intel Pentium 3 processors.
Here are the players of the game in this tournament opener for Canada. Goaltender Maxime Ouellette makes 31 saves, a number of them in the third period, with Canada clinging to a 1-goal lead. Antti Mittinen of Finland scored a pair of goals in the game and brought the Finns close. The players of the game brought to you by ESQ Unwind.
It's time for all Canadians to better our hockey programs. That's why Esquire and the CHA are joining together to develop minor hockey in Canada. $1 from every Esquire watch sold between October and March goes directly to sponsorship and growth of minor hockey.
So it's a win for the Canadians and a lesson learned in the third period as the Finns gave them a scare. Here's Paul Romanuk with Team Canada coach Claude Julien.
All right, thanks, Gord. Claude, you had to buckle down there in the third period. Why does that always happen to teams? Gary Green was talking about it, saying no matter what league, no matter what competition, Third period, guys tend to lay back.
Yeah, well, we seem to be focused enough before coming out for the third, but I think that goal they scored on us halfway through the third sort of set the panic button a little bit on our guys. We seem to lose our focus a little bit, and too many turnovers at both blue lines, and I think that was probably the toughest part of our third period.
What impressed you about this game? Things looked airtight there, the first couple of periods especially.
Yeah, we seemed very composed the first two periods, and it seemed to be going the right way. And as I mentioned, I thought we started the third okay, and then all of a sudden that one goal seemed to turn the wind around, and we seemed to be backpedaling from there on end.
All right, last time I checked, they don't have a little footnote to had to battle last 10 minutes. You just get the 2 points. Congrats.
Thank you.
Canada off to a good start in this tournament. They pick up a 3-2 win against Finland. Gord?
All right, thank you, Paul. It's been 3 years since Canada won its tournament opener of the World Junior. This a 3-2 victory over Finland makes Canada 1-0 on day one.
The World Junior Hockey Championship on TSN, brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game.
Call fire rescue.
Can't tell AT&T, pay as you go.
That's the second time tonight.
For when you really need a cell phone, imagine what a great gift it would make.
It's time for all Canadians to make a commitment to better our hockey programs. Esquire and the Canadian Hockey Association are working together to develop minor hockey in Canada. $1 from each Esquire watch sold between October and March will go directly to the sponsorship and growth of minor hockey. Check out tsn.ca/ESQ or your participating Esquire dealer. Tell us about your team of superstars. They could receive Bauer merchandise and be the next Team Esquire stars to say,
If you looked into the minds of the Taurus 2000 engineers, you'd see what they were thinking. Power adjustable pedals, a personal safety system with sensors that think about how to activate seatbelts and airbags. They were also thinking that a Taurus this safe should be an exhilarating ride. The Ford Taurus 2000. Good thinking.
Welcome to my Hall of Fame. Home of the quickest, most awesome player to ever hit the ice. The place where with one unexpected move, I can single-handedly bring thousands to their feet. What's your dream?
A lot of folks demand more than just a sweet treat. That's why they go for Cadbury Wonder Bar. Wonder Bar is peanut butter wrapped in smooth caramel and covered in Cadbury's delicious chocolatey coating. Cadbury Wonder Bar tastes Wonder Bar.
The World Junior Hockey Championship on TSN is brought to you in part by Esso and the Esso Extra Card. Swipe the card, win and earn. By Air Canada, proud to sponsor hockey coast to coast. In this country, every day is game day. By Royal Bank Financial Group, building relationships one customer at a time. And by Nike Hockey. Our goal is not to make the player, but to make the player better. Just do it.
Gord Miller back here with Bob McKenzie in Skellefteå, Sweden, where the Canadians opened the tournament with a 3-2 victory. That's the good news. The bad news, I suppose, is that they gave up 2 late goals and made it closer than it had to be. But the Canadians, I guess, would point out, better than last year when they tied Slovakia 0-0 and better than 2 years ago when they lost to Finland.
Well, that's right. There were lots of positive signs early in the game, the first 2 periods. There were a lot of negatives in the third periods, and the coaches will try to find that fine line between accentuating the positive but reminding the players of the breakdowns that they had in the third period to ensure it doesn't happen again. The Finns are a good hockey team, make no mistake, but there are a lot better teams in this tournament than the Finns, and Claude Julien knows that the mistakes Team Canada made in the third period can't be repeated against a better team that'll take more advantage of its opportunities.
And we talked about it earlier, but it's worth noting. Remember, 2 years ago in a 2-0 victory over Germany, Team Canada captain Jesse Wallen broke his foot blocking a shot late in that game. Canadians were sprawled all over the ice blocking shots today.
Yeah, lots of shot blocking, and again, it's positives and negatives. In the first 2 periods, they went down, they blocked the shots. We were congratulating them on them. In the third period, they kept on going down. The Finns kept on getting wise to the act, kept on going around them, and all of a sudden it was a weakness. They were taking themselves out of position. So again, a very fine line between the good things and the bad things for Team Canada.
Worth noting also today that Russia beat Kazakhstan 14-1. Evgeny Muratov had 4 goals and 2 assists in this game, better known as a stats game. And remember, with Kazakhstan and Ukraine in that other pool, there's going to be some big numbers put up there. Next up for us, after a couple days off, it's the Czech Republic against Canada, Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 10:30 a.m. Pacific. For all of us at TSN, I'm Gord Miller. Thanks for tuning in. This has been a presentation of TSN, Canada's most watched sports network.